It was a win for the Enforcement Directorate at the Supreme Court today. Backing the Enforcement Directorate with a crucial judgment, the Supreme Court today rejected almost all objections raised against the probe agency regarding several powers, including initiating an investigation, the power to arrest, and a lot more. Sukirti is joining us for the details. Sukirti, take us through which powers have been upheld by the Supreme Court and what are the justifications and the reasons and the top quotes from the court in this hearing.
Well, all the wide powers of the Enforcement Directorate, whether it concerns arrest, whether it's concerned with the seizure of property, all of those, even bail conditions, all of those powers have been upheld by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says that these special powers of arrest that the Enforcement Directorate has, these are not arbitrary in nature. Also providing a copy of the information, ECIR report as it is called, that is not mandatory for the Enforcement Directorate because it is an internal document. It is not equivalent to an FIR. So all of those powers have been upheld by the Supreme Court, and also the court has given certain strong statements in the verdict that it has passed. In the judgment copy, they've written that money laundering cases also end up promoting heinous crimes like terrorism or even those pertaining to drug smuggling. And that is why there is a need for clamping down on money laundering cases. These also pertain to the sovereignty and integrity of the country because of the terrorism cases. And that is why the kind of laws or amendments that have been made by the government, those need to be retained. So all of that ends up coming up as a victory for the government today, which had very strongly argued in favor of all of these provisions. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta had argued in the Supreme Court that whether it is nabbing down the properties of fugitives like Vijay Mallya or Nirav Modi, or it is about trailing the funding of terror cases, all of that comes down to PMLA provisions, and those have helped in seizure of properties worth crores of rupees. And that is why the government needs to continue with these provisions. So for now, looks like a victory for the central government, but tougher days could be there for the opposition, which has been alleging that the government has been misusing agencies against them.
Right, Sukirti. In fact, I was coming to that next, that it comes at a time when opposition leaders have been protesting against this. And we've seen ED action against Sonia Gandhi. We've seen it in Bengal against Partha Chatterjee and in Maharashtra against Sanjay Raut. So it comes at a crucial time when this has already been an issue with the opposition.
Well, yes, absolutely. Opposition parties have been raising this issue for a while. Even today, when Mr. JP Nadda, the BJP president, defended the kind of verdict that had come from the Supreme Court and said that one must follow the rule of the law. And Congress is not doing that by going ahead with all of these protests at the Enforcement Directorate office or outside the AICC headquarters. That is not how things work in a democracy where there is a constitution in place, where there are laws that have been laid down. But the opposition leaders, whether it's Congress leaders like Mr. Salman Khurshid, those also Supreme Court advocates, he pointed out today saying that while the PMLA was developed in order to deal with certain regulations in the financial sector, many of its provisions are now being misused by the ruling government, and that is what we are strongly condemning. So all of that battle of words has already been there, but definitely with more and more opposition leaders being questioned over it, the PMLA matter is definitely going to take political shades as well.
Right, Sukirti, thanks very much for joining us with those details.